Well, private equity evidently is a big thing now, and there's a lot of coaches in the Big 12 that are revolutionizing not only recruiting, but the way that you build a roster, and thankfully the Big 12 might be the biggest beneficiaries.
You are Locked On College Crossover, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
How are we feeling, all of our Big 12 brethren? Mountaineer Paul, we're in this daggone thing. Shout out to all of my regulators out there. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, Locked On West Virginia crossover, where we get to talk about the massive Rich Rod class, what Eric Morris is also bringing to Oklahoma State, how it revolutionizes things. We get to talk about private equity started from Utah and the Big 12 basketball to close things out. Before we get going, Mountaineer Paul, there's a lot of moving and shaking right now in the Big 12. How do you feel about it in general? And what do you think Coach Rich Rod is doing in recruiting that may be something that every team in the country starts to follow if it's successful?
Well, yeah, I think it's an interesting thing, right? You know, he didn't get his first recruiting class. And so I think, part of this is a little bit of it's a little bit of an overcompensation from not having his first class in Morgantown. I don't know if we'll be at 50 from here on out.
Yeah.
I think between 30, 35, maybe even 38. Yeah, I think that's feasible from here on out as far as amount of players. He said he would like it to be 2-to-1 or possibly 3-to-1 as far as portal and recruiting. So it's an interesting concept. Certainly the antithesis of what a couple other coaches in this conference is doing it right now.
Right.
And, I think number one class in the conference. I never would have thought we would have it.
You know what? Numerically speaking, a lot of people are throwing some shade at West Virginia's way, but I actually think that this, if it's successful, and I'm very much hoping that it is, it could redefine the recruiting landscape, because right now the high school kids are the ones that are primarily getting screwed over, right? So you look at Deion Sanders. I'm not saying that he's doing it the right way or the wrong way, but we're going to find out if getting 10 high school kids or almost 50 high school kids is the way to go about things. And speaking of doing things the right way, today's episode is partially brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, make sure that you visit FanDuel.com and place your bets live on NFL all season long. Yeah, dude. So I think you look at somebody like Deion Sanders that only gets a handful. Then you look at somebody like Rich Rodriguez that is going the complete opposite route. I am very much hoping that it's insanely successful, because doing some of the recruiting and scouting 7-on-7 stuff, I see high school kids that are getting screwed the most, and all of this NIL transfer portal era stuff. But it is going to be a litmus test. And I do think that we have some coaches in the conference that are revolutionizing things. I think look no further than Eric Morris, right? I've talked about this a little bit on my show. You guys are trying to reinvent the wheel to some degree and get back to the core of what high school recruiting is supposed to be, right? In this day and age, if you have 50 dudes and 30 of them, 25 of them decide to stick it out for 4 years, that is a massive success. And I think it'll redefine how we do this recruiting and portal crap moving on. And Eric Morris specifically, I think it's less about the talent of the individual coach anymore, Paul. I think it's more about collectively what you bring. Can you bring 90% of your staff? Can you bring 55% of a 11-12-1 roster? If you can do that, it gives you the ability to catapult yourself instantaneously into contention. And Eric Morris even said that, right? One of the biggest two things that he asked himself before he took the job is, one of the biggest ones, can we win a championship here? Yes, that's number one. Number two is, does it align with my values? Well, he's a country farming dude. So I think that he's in it for the long haul, right? Until Joey McGuire retires. That could complicate things. But I love the fact that in 4 days, Paul, he signed a 15-man class. We went from 3 commits to 15 dudes signing a letter of intent in less than 4 days. And I also do think that Eric Morris is one of those guys that is more about development. If you look at the North Texas roster, I did a comparison between if Alex Golesh were to get the job, how many dudes could he potentially bring with him to Stillwater in conjunction with what Eric Morris can do? Eric Morris had way more freshmen that were starting or playing, and I think that is part of his design as well. What you just saw out of Rich Rodriguez, I think, is what Eric Morse would like to do. I think in an ideal world, Eric Morse would like to have more dudes to stick around for 4 years than having to replace half your roster every 2 years. Again, there's the Colorado model. Now there's the West Virginia model. I think Oklahoma State under Eric Morse is going to kind of fit right in the middle. But what do you think about the fact that we're going to witness what it looks like between the disparity of Colorado and West Virginia? It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, and you look at it like this too, like Rich Rod said, these high school kids are a lot cheaper than the portal players, right? You can get a really good high school player for $150,000, right?
Right. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's like, maybe you lose him. And yes, at the end of the day, you lose a little bit of money that way. Yeah. But if you keep the best ones around, because you're going to have that cap money, you're going to hopefully have outside the cap NIL money. So if you develop a kid and turns into a monster, you're going to have the funds to keep them around unless thing gets into where kids are making $4 or $5 million a piece or something. But I mean, right now it's in a place where, it's fair enough where even programs like us, you guys can survive in the market. So that's kind of what we're hoping for, right? Rich Rodriguez has, been very open about it. What they did, they thought ahead. They said, look, we're going to be in a really bad spot here. Not only did we not get a recruiting class, but we also came in after the first portal window was open, and we're going to pick over the leftovers. We're not going to be very good next year. We're going to try our best. We're going to try to evaluate, find guys in the FCS, find Division II guys, find JUCO guys, and you put a 4-win team together in a year where you lost 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 at quarterback, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 at running back. That's not an exaggeration. So I feel like a 4-win season, in spite of all that, you lost your top 8 offensive linemen. You brought in 80 players.
Right.
I think it's actually pretty good. You had 2 ranked wins. So I feel better about it than I think it looks on paper. And what they said was, you know what we're going to do? Because we realize this $5 million, while it maybe we'll be bowl eligible if we spend it here this year, why don't we just not, since technically the money doesn't roll over in the cap from year to year.
Right.
But the same fiscal year has 2 separate windows within 2 separate seasons in, right? So what we'll do is we'll save $5 million of this, and come next year, even though we didn't get a recruiting class this year or much of a portal class this year, we can spend $2 or $3 million of that $5 million on this recruiting class and put us up in the top 2 of the Big 12 conference. And we can spend an extra couple million on that NIL. And I really think it has put West Virginia in a much better place going into year 2 than otherwise would have been. Right. I mean, you end up flipping some really elite players on signing day. It's, some of the best players. I mean, Penn State's loss was West Virginia's gain almost as much as Virginia Tech's.
Yeah, dude, that is very fair. Well, and James Franklin took the job at Virginia Tech and took basically all of the class with him. He's definitely going to be bringing some coaches with him. We talk about that with like Eric Morris and the new age of what you're looking at in the coaching.
Same kind of deal there, yeah.
I was going to say Rich Rod, right? He brought some dudes from Jack State, both staff and players. Lance Leipold brought some Buffalo dudes with him to KU. Willie Fritz brought Tulane guys with him to Houston. Eric Morse is bringing in North Texas guys over to Oklahoma State. I think that this is the new model, but it's a big risk, right? For Oklahoma State, like it is a risk. Can all of this North Texas talent be transferable to the Big 12 game? We don't know. We're going to find out. Is Rich Rod taking a gamble on almost 50 high school dudes? Is it going to work out? Because, here's the deal. If something goes haywire, right, and you lose the majority of these guys, you're going to look back and say, man, what a disaster. And if
absolutely.
Deion Sanders has a 10-win season with only 10 freshmen, I don't think that bodes well for the future of high school recruiting. So I think all of high school players in the country are rooting for West Virginia now. I think we need this model to be successful because living in the transfer portal, living in NIL, rev share era, I don't think it's sustainable forever, right? Look at Iowa State. If Jamie Pollard doesn't publicly talk about how broke they are, is Matt Campbell still on the sidelines in Ames, Iowa?
It's a great question.
So there's tons of things happening in the Big 12. It's a lot of risk. I appreciate that Brett Yormark has started some of this stuff. I think that the third-party equity thing, in the beginning, dude, I was super pumped about it. I thought it was a brilliant idea. But, I have some concerns and reservations now. But before we do that, we got to remind the fine folks out here that it is time. It's that time of year where you can be the king dangling of your bedroom once again. It's time to rise and shine with Rougiette, baby. That's right. Play on words, pun intended. Fellas, we got to talk about something that none of us prefer to bring up, probably, right? But there's a lot of things that hit you in life. Stress, money, life in general. And it doesn't just switch off at night. When it shows up the worst possible time, Rougiette Ready is designed to help you take control of your bedroom once again. Be that king ding-a-ling. Rougiette Ready is a next-generation prescription treatment treated to support both brain and body. You can feel present, confident, and ready when the moment matters. Rougiette Ready combines 3 clinically proven ingredients, all in one, mint dissolvable under your tongue. It absorbs fast. The science behind Rougiette Ready stands out. You connect with a board-certified doctor online. Everything ships discreetly to your door. It's easy to understand why over 150,000 dudes have already made this switch. Most men are ready in about 15 minutes on average. So you can stay present, confident, and in control when the moment is right. So if you've been thinking about taking that next step, now is your moment. Head to Rougiette.com/LockedOnCollege. That is Rougiette, RUGIET.com/LockedOnCollege. All one word to get 15% off your first order for a limited time. It's Rougiette Ready. Feel present, feel confident, feel ready with Rougiette Ready, and be the king dingling of your bedroom once again. What it do, Paul? What it do? It is that season. NFL is here. FanDuel is the bee's knees for all of our betting needs, yeah?
Absolutely. The NFL Sundays do move fast, man. One big play, suddenly everything feels a little different, right? That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're literally reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place live bets as the action unfolds. You've got every drive, you've got every momentum swing covered, and every highlight moment. Because live betting is best when the game starts to shift. A receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into that moment straight away with live spreads and money lines that adjust instantly. You get player props that update as soon as guys heat up, and you can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more, basically keeping you locked into every snap, every drive, and every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com. Place your live NFL bets all season long with FanDuel. The game moves fast, so can you.
Boom. All right, buddy. We get to jump into segment 2 here. This private equity stuff. Ironically, we're going to talk about Utah and the fact that Brett Yormark put it into existence and said, I think that we should do this, right? We flirt with the branding ideas and third-party equity. And Florida State flirted with it publicly. And I did feel some type of way. I was like, why are we letting Florida State steal the idea that Brett Yormark presented to the country on behalf of the Big 12? And then Utah said, hold my beer, watch this. We're actually going to do it first. And then we find out 8 minutes before we got on the air here that the Big 12 is likely leaning in that direction. Yahoo Sports says the Big 12 is nearing a private capital deal that could raise up to $500 million. Obviously, that will be divided up somewhat evenly across the Big 12. Around $30 million for each school. Right. Is that correct? You're a little bit more read up on this. You brought it to my attention.
Right.
So we decided to throw it in here. But since you've done a little bit of research, kind of what are your thoughts on it? And do you think it's the right move? Because it could be very, very risky, which we'll elaborate on here in a second. But fire away at me, buddy. What are your initial thoughts?
Well, I mean, the pros for the deal. Let's do pros first,
okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Immediate financial relief and flexibility. You're gonna have access to potentially $30 million in low credit rate, right? Yeah. Low rate credit, which is going to help ease pressure, right?
It gets you closer to the Big Ten and SEC.
Absolutely. Well, and look, like you're talking about that 20 to 22 million annual revenue sharing cap with, so here's the thing. You can focus on outside the cap a little bit more now. You don't have to worry so much about getting that 20, 22 million, whatever, and it's going to go up every year.
Right.
I think it also enhances competitiveness within the Big 12's arms race, right? You look at a school like Kansas that just got a $300 million donation. Texas Tech, oil-backed wealth. BYU has a global donor base, right? So those guys are already surging ahead.
Yeah.
So this actually helps with some parity in the league, right? It would help with league-wide growth. It would help strategic partnerships. Like there's a ton of different things in there that you can look at on the positive side. Do you want me to go over the negatives I have too, or do you want to? What do you want to do?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest glaring negative is, and Utah is the best example, right? They said that Harlan and the president were still going to have like proprietary abilities to make the decisions, right? And I get that. It's commendable. It's respectable. But let's keep it real, man. The beauty of something like this, it's the same concept of having a board. Oklahoma State has board of regents, right? A lot of people do now. The board of regents, and this is exactly why Mike Gundy got fired, because they don't operate off of emotions. They don't operate off of loyalty or seniority. They operate off of statistics. Numerically speaking, what does this business provide? And again, it's applicable to the Big 12 as it was to Utah. If this goes sideways for Utah, I think Utah's is a 5-year deal. And yes, the president and the AD are going to be the face of it. They're the ones making the sports decisions. But you and I both know, bro, if you've got multi-millionaires telling you, I don't care if you love Mike Gundy. I don't care if he's the greatest coach of all time. I care that this team hasn't won a conference game in 2 years. So this team is no longer profitable. That could change things dramatically, because now you have this private equity that publicly are not making decisions, but privately, you know how it is. It's the same as donors. I'll mention another benefit to all of this is right now you have probably a few donors that call the shots at 90% of universities. And both of ours are no different. You've got three boom picking size dudes, and then you've got a bunch of $2 million, $3 million, $4 million a year donors, right? That's how it goes. But what this does, in my opinion, is it does eliminate some of that, the top heavy donors, from having too much control. So I see a lot of positives, but dude, if it goes wrong, we're going to have part of our conference that we do not own. And they're going to start making more and more and more decisions that are predicated upon statistics and metrics and numbers. And that could be very, very, very bad for all of us. So it's a Hail Mary, bro. If it works, we could be up there with the Big Ten and the SEC in the next 3 to 5 years. If it doesn't work in 5 years, we might be part of the negative side of realignment, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on the negatives?
Well, that's debt, right? Anytime you go into debt, that means you have to repay it, right? At the end of the day, it's not like it's free money. You got to repay it. Well, I mean, there are some schools that make more money than others, right? But I mean, if the media rights stagnate due to cord cutting or something crazy like that happens, you can face added strain. I mean, it could actually make things worse and exacerbate the existing debt you already have, which would force cuts to non-revenue sports or staff or whatever, man. So as a mid-tier school in the Big 12, this is something like you realize some of us lack the donor depth of a Texas Tech, right? Yeah. So that's why my second thing is opt in. Were you going to opt in or not? What decision are you going to make? You feel like you're in a healthy spot? West Virginia, Oklahoma State, don't opt in. It's enticing. 30 million is a lot of money, but it's like 1.5 years of rev share money. Is it worth all the back end? And like you already mentioned, you lose your autonomy. And there's external influence involved now. So you have a strategic partnership. Obviously, Redbird and Weatherford sounds like they would be a good partner, but they have input on decisions now. What are they going to prioritize? Profits over traditions, most likely.
That's it, right? There has to be a return on investment. There has to be. And it's the same as Troy Aikman talking about how he's not going to give UCLA a penny anymore because the last time he did, he cut a massive check, and the player that he got to UCLA left within a year anyways, and he just lost a couple $1 million for no flipping reason. There's a lot of risk that comes with this if there's not a return on investment. Texas Tech, they're getting a ton of ROI, right? So Cody Campbell and that crew of donors that have stepped up to make this machine what it is, they're getting to experience the positive side. They're getting to experience what it looks like when it does go right. But we don't know what it looks like when it goes wrong because this is brand new. So kudos to Utah and the Big 12 for getting ahead of this. The fact that Brett Yormark mentioned it, at the time, again, my first thought was, well, financially, that does put us pretty close to Big Ten and SEC territory. Mm-hmm. Yes, it does come with a negative, like you're going to lose 10%, 20% of your autonomy. What is the new figure? I remember a year and a half ago when it was originally announced that $1 billion deal was going to be for 20% stake in the Big 12. What numerically is different in this one? You know?
I don't think it's been announced yet.
Okay.
As far as the stake they're going to get, I don't think that's made it that far yet.
But it's going to be at least 10-15%, right?
Probably.
It has to.
Yeah. I mean, well, what was it with the billion? Did we know? Did we remember?
It was like 20%. They were going to take 20%.
So you're probably thinking 10% for this, right? So maybe you get a little bit of a discount. I don't know, but I mean, don't remember because especially under an NCAA umbrella, which has been we haven't even talked about antitrust, right?
Yeah, true.
I mean, the system historically,
it's going to get crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and the other thing is what this does is it gives you a spending bubble. It's not really real. It's robbing Peter to pay Paul, which I never get any money, but in all seriousness, it's a spending bubble. Like it's, I don't know. You can inflate your spending, but it's not really real. So you're trying to keep up with people,
right?
But what is it doing on the back end, man? I don't know. It's just the answer is nobody knows because we're the guinea pigs. Yep. Because the system puts us strategically in a place to have to do this. That's just what it comes down to. Do we bring the eyeballs of the others? Maybe not, but I don't know, man. I go back and forth on it. Sometimes I understand why they get more. And then other times I think it's because they're put in the position to be better than us. Let me ask you this. If BYU and Texas Tech continue for the next 10 to 15 years to be in the position they're in, which is college football playoffs, how much more brand value do you think they would have in 10, 15 years?
Enough that private equity would be a brilliant move, right? You're going to look like a genius if it goes right.
So point is, though, these SEC and Big Ten schools have had this exposure year after year after year after year after year. Therefore, their brand equity is better than ours. But it's because the books are cooked. Like it's like I just said the other day, I didn't even know it was going to go. I had a tweet that kind of went mini viral. I was just replying under a tweet, and somebody said, "What's the worst thing in recruiting you ever heard?" And I said, "Well, I just had a parent tell me that Rivals offered his son a 5th star to commit on their platform." Those kind of things happen, right? And so when FSU or somebody gets a 5-star athlete that you just don't know why he has that 5th star, and it's just like all of a sudden ESPN, you're ranking these teams by all these 5-star players. Yeah, it's like, man, come on. I've seen several 3-star players that should be 4, and sometimes even 5-star players. And getting off the rails a little bit here, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like we're at a disadvantage, and we have to try to catch up.
Yeah, I mean it's all about calculating the risk to reward factor.
We could always just blow the conference up and say, screw you.
Well, and I think if this doesn't work in 5 years, we might be in that situation where we're going to
probably be similar situation anyway because of realignment.
Yeah.
What are they going to do if they cut it off at 50 teams?
It's a calculated risk.
West Virginia, Oklahoma State at 50 teams is going to be on the chopping. It's going to be close, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, again, if you get the risk to reward factor wrong, the risk factor could be extremely detrimental to you maintaining your P4 status. And that's everybody in every conference. Yeah. But, regardless, when it comes to risk or reward, you want a future in it, right? You want some assurance of longevity. You also want that in holiday season too, because it's gift giving. You want longevity in gift giving too, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
That is why we got to go with Aura Frames, my dude. It is not your traditional, typical gift that'll get shoved in a closet or a drawer for a long time, because the holiday gift hunting season is officially upon us. So you want to get something that is bad to the bone, meaningful, personal, and guaranteed to get a reaction. That is Aura Frames, the gift that delivers every single time. It's not just something you wrap, it's something you share memories with instantaneously, because it's not your average picture frame, right? You can preload the frame with photos before gifting it. So as soon as they plug it in, open it up, the memories are already right there. No apps to figure out, no setup headaches, just instantaneous smiles. Grandparents, parents, newlyweds, anyone who loves photos, memories are going to love this thing. They have endless uploads of pictures and 30-second videos that you can get through the Aura app. Add the personalized messaging right inside, so the frame is a gift that feels thoughtful the minute they open it. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com. Yes, words are still hard for me to get. $35 off Aura's best-selling carver matte frames. Named number 1 by Wirecutter. Use promo code COLLEGE at checkout. That is Aura, AURA, frames.com. Promo code COLLEGE, one word. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and the frames are going to sell out very, very fast. So orders now are a necessity for you to get them by the holidays. Terms and conditions apply. Get the gift that's going to last forever and give the best memories. That is Aura Frames. All right, last but not least, it is basketball season. The Cowboys are cruising. West Virginia just dealt with some debris, turmoil that a lot of people assume may set you guys back a little bit, but it does seem as though that you're having a pretty successful run of it right now. The Big 12 is back on top. The SEC being on top was almost an absolute farce. Statistically, we had a better tournament outcome. We had numerically better results, but Florida did win the whole thing. So at the end of the day, the SEC still got to take that clout. I'm glad to see that the Big 12 is clearly on top. Oklahoma State is undefeated. There's only 8 undefeated teams in America, and we're still ranked right outside the top 25 at number 27. We have an epic double Bedlam matchup coming up. We get women's Bedlam at noon, men's Bedlam at 3. And the women's Bedlam is 2 top 25 matchups. Oklahoma State, number 23. OU women's is number 8. It's a wild time. It's nice to see the Big 12 back on top. Houston's killing it. BYU's killing it. Colorado's been undefeated. I think they may have just experienced their first loss. Nebraska, old Big 12 foe, they're undefeated. It's a
Fred
fun time
Hoiberg.
right now. Huh?
Fred Hoiberg.
Yeah, dude. The mayor of the Hilton Coliseum, Iowa State, they're absolutely rolling, both men's and women's. It's a fun time in basketball, but let's get real quick to the West Virginia side of things. You did lose a lot, not only financially, you lost physical bodies, you lost coaches. It was not a very ceremonious exit by Darian and Tucker DeVries. But what you have rolling now seems to work. Let me ask you this. Are we back to the Huggy Bear Press Virginia days, or is it a completely different kind of team?
No, you're on it. Ross Hodge finished second to only Houston while he was at North Texas 2 straight years, the last 2 years in defensive metrics. Houston, number 1 in the country. North Texas, number 2 in the country.
They got us a couple of years ago. We weren't very good, but they got us in Stillwater, and then we stole their best player the next year. But yeah, dude, poor North Texas, man.
Listen, man, we got Rim Baker from North Texas. So there's a lot of
North Texas fans are going to hate Oklahoma State and West Virginia for the rest of their lives.
Oh yeah, it's just like I hate Michigan. Like Michigan took not only John Beeline from West Virginia, they took Rich Rodriguez from West Virginia.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it happens, right? There's just certain programs that love to prey on the they love to prey on them. So no, this team is still finding itself to some extent. We're 8-3. So, I mean, not bad. Like I was telling you on the phone earlier today, we were a really good Clemson team.
Yeah.
We were up 10 or 12 on them with 6 minutes to go, and we just blew the game. Just flat out blew it. Really questionable calls in that game. But at the end of the day, we lost that game. It was in the Charleston tournament.
BYU got your back, buddy.
Yeah.
Big 12 brethren got your back.
And then the very next day, we played Xavier, who was 4-4 at the time, and they hit 23s on us in the game. Never seen it in my life. They literally didn't miss. They shot 80-something% from 3. I've never seen it in my life. It was insane. Like, it was just one of those ones, and we still were in that game late.
That's crazy.
So, yeah. Yeah, like they went insane on us. It was actually like 17 threes.
Dude,
but I mean,
Sam Houston just hit 15 threes on us, and if we didn't have a really good front court that dominated down low, we would have lost that game. But
wow.
Yeah.
So anyways, obviously defensively, West Virginia is top 5 in the country in almost every metric right now. They're a really hard-nosed bunch. They play tough defense.
Yeah.
The team is pretty good, though. I think right now, I would consider us a bubble team somewhere in there.
Okay.
We can definitely improve that. We play Ohio State tomorrow. who's a good basketball team. They've got one loss on the year. So we'll see what Coach Diebler and company have for us. We're playing at Rocket Arena in Cleveland, so that'll be fun. It's only a 3-hour drive for them, or a 3-hour drive for us. It's only a 2-hour drive for them.
Okay.
So that should be pretty packed because we travel deep. And I would imagine it'll be pretty fun atmosphere for us. So, you get that non-conference win, you feel better about it. But as far as the team this year, as far as a couple of the players, I'll let you know, Honor Huff came in with all this publication, and for good reason. He led all of college basketball in three-pointers made last year and shot over 40% while doing it at a high volume. He's probably made 5 or more in multiple games this year. He's literally one of the best shooters I've ever seen in my life. He's only 5'10", but man, is he good. He continues to carry us offensively when we need it. The Tragle staff, the big signing that we had, 19 points a game, put up 51 on South Dakota State. He put up 41 on Alabama. He hasn't come around yet. So it seems like that's been the one we just weren't expecting to miss on. Mm-hmm. His usage rate was up in the 20s, like 25 or 26% at North Dakota last year. So not only moving up to the Big 12, but your usage rate is down to like 6 or 7%, maybe less. So there's that. And then lastly, West Virginia has 2 players that they didn't integrate into the system until after the 10th game because of one broke his hand in the offseason, and the other one who transferred from St. Bonaventure and Chance Moore was dealing with some type of suspension. So, we just integrated 2 of our best players, 2 of our top 6-minute getters late into the season. So we're still kind of trying to find ourselves a little bit. So he 8-3, despite playing 2 freshmen the bulk of the minutes. One, a reclassified 2026 kid who's like 17. It's the top 100 kid. It's gone okay so far. We've lost a couple games I didn't think we should, but overall, I think we're in a good spot, not a great spot. We still trying to figure out who we are in a lot of ways.
Okay.
You guys, I hear, are doing a lot better.
Well, I'm excited to hear that the concept of Press Virginia is back because
defensively it is.
Dude, it was so much fun to watch. I remember even watching VCU with Shaka Smart do it. Like, that was the fastest brand of basketball of all time, and it was so much fun to watch.
Yeah,
so
you got to have a lot of bodies to do it.
Yeah, so you mentioned, one of the top scorers in the country last year. We got one of those as well. We got Anthony Roy, who was leading the country in scoring and 3-pointers before he had a little injury this previous season. Yeah, dude, he is as advertised. He can hit from anywhere. He's a good shooter, good driver. He can facilitate. So he was worth his weight in gold. We got Isaiah Coleman over from Seton Hall. He's been an absolutely massive addition. Defensively, he's probably our best defender. And then we've got multiple guards. So we've got Kanye Cleary that came over from Penn State. He's more of a, and
they were really good.
He's more of a facilitator, right? He scored 16 points, 13 points, 14 points, but his assists are absolutely insane. And then the other point guard, Jalen Curry, he can get to the basket as fast as anyone I've ever seen. Like, he is quick enough that he pulls some Cade Cunningham moves and gets to the basket in transition to an unprecedented level.
Well, that's a legendary name to bring up.
He puts a ton of pressure on you. And then thankfully, we've got some big dudes. We got Parsifala over from Oregon State. He's been a massive addition. And then we also have Letteris Montezoukas. He comes over from Greece. He's a 3-point specialist, but obviously if you're in the 6'10", 6'11" range, you can do some damage down low. We have Andre Vukovic that could come in. Probably the most interesting player is Master P's son, Victorious Miller. Victorious Miller is the first player in Oklahoma State history, it was a week ago, to drop 30
Did you say Master P's son?
Yeah, Master P's son. Silk the Shocker's nephew, Victorious Miller. Wow. He is a beast, bro. And here, and lastly, I'll leave you with this. We've only had like 3 games where we didn't have, where we had all 5 starters available. We've won like 6 or 7 games without 2 or 3 of our starters. So our bench has been going in, and I mean, they're obviously not as good as the starters, but it's not a big drop off. And this is something that Oklahoma State fans, I mentioned Cade Cunningham. That's the last time that we were this good, right? This is the last time we had an 8-game winning streak run. but we didn't have depth then. The last time we had this kind of depth, you got to go back to the Marcus Smart, LeBron Nash, Markel Brown, Mike Cobbins days, and we still underachieved. We had multiple NBA professionals on that team, and we didn't really do anything. The difference now is we have an X's and O's guy, right? We've had talent. We've recruited talent. Getting guys inside Gallagher Iba is extremely easy to do, but we haven't had a coach for 20 years that X's and O's could win us games. And, oh, here's a crazy idea. Hit your flipping free throws at the end of the game. We're doing the things that a basketball team does. We lock down defense when we need to. We hit big shots when we need to. We hit free throws to end the games when we need to. If we have players go down, we have replacements that slide in fairly seamlessly. It's an exciting time. I don't think we're going to win the Big 12. All right. But we're going to give everybody in this league more than they ever bargained for because of our depth. I know I just went on a long soliloquy there. I appreciate you letting me.
It's okay. I'm always down for a good soliloquy.
I get it. I'm excited, man. After
I
2
love
years,
it. I'm glad you are. I mean, you got
after 2 years of watching a dumpster fire in both football and basketball.
Can I one up you? I want to one up you on this.
It sounds like you're gonna.
I'm gonna. I mean, we're on year 7 of no ranked in football. I haven't been ranked in 7 years. Yeah,
I did not know that.
That's the Neil Brown era for you. It was just good enough not to be horrible and not, I don't know, and just bad enough not to be ranked.
I'm glad you brought that up because we've been picking on North Texas. All right, congratulations, North Texas. You got a good hire. And
yeah, he'll kill it there at that level for sure. I just think it was really a staff issue, in my opinion. At West Virginia, I think Neil's a pretty good coach. But, I mean, he refused to fire his friends. He really did. That did him in.
To say, bro, I think he had the same problem as Mike Gundy, the same problem as Nick Saban, the same problem as Dabo Swinney. You could even argue the same problem as Kyle Whittingham, just that this NIL era is so much different. It's ruined some of the love of the game for the old school dudes.
Yeah.
Because the old school dudes still prefer the 4-year high school guys that
I do too.
But that it's hard to find nowadays, right? Yeah. That's almost non-existent now.
Especially when you're in West Virginia, you don't even have a home recruiting base really. When you might get 5 to 6 Power 4 guys a year in the state. The rest of the guys are G5,
But I'll also say I do think that Neil Brown probably learned a lot.
Oh yeah, he did.
How to navigate.
I wouldn't be shocked at all if he wasn't back on the scene as a head coach big time in a couple years.
It's very possible. I would be shocked to see Kyle Whittingham take another job. I can tell you that. It'd be the same as Mike Gundy, right? I just think that Mike Gundy, obviously way more so.
Gundy to Michigan is happening.
I think Gundy proved that the new pay-for-play era is just not built for him. It's just not. Right?
Unless he's at Michigan where you have unlimited pay, you don't have to ask for it. It's already there.
Yeah, but I think there's some negative connotations that come to how things were handled at Oklahoma State. But we'll see. Again, I think Neil Brown is a little bit of a different situation. But only time will tell. Just like only time will tell if we're both competitive in the Big 12 for basketball. Only time will tell if this private equity thing is going to work out. It's either going to go really, really good or really, really bad. I don't think
only time will tell.
Gray area.
Only time will tell on the recruiting as well.
Yeah.
Taking 50 guys.
So we've got that massive double dip of Bedlam this weekend. What does Mountaineer Nation have rocking and rolling coming up next, brother man?
Yeah, we've got the Suck Eyes, Ohio Stank. We play them tomorrow. We'll be in Rocket Mortgage Arena, in the Cavs Arena. That should be a fun game. A lot of Mountaineer fans traveling down there for that to face a pretty good Buckeyes team.
Yeah.
Hopefully we pull that one out. It'd be a good non-conference win for the Big 12.
I like that you went with Suck Eyes. I've unfortunately in my youth, I've inserted an F instead of an S there.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
But I've grown. I've almost matured. So
yeah.
I'm here for the comedy aspect. Anywho, homie Skeletor, I greatly appreciate you coming on here to help me do some of the heavy lifting. It's going to be an exciting time. Obviously, we'll be able to touch back a little bit later on to see what the recruiting class. We've both got the ability to still sign a few dudes come February. That'll be interesting. But until next time, buddy, I appreciate you. Everybody make sure that you go check out our dude. Oh, I'm going to throw him Mountaineer Paul, that guy right there. West Virginia's got some fun things rocking and rolling. I love what Rich Rod's doing. I love what Cowboy basketball is doing at the moment. So it's a good time. It's a fun time. Hit us with a like button. Dislike it if you didn't like it. That's okay. Too, more importantly, share, comment, and subscribe. All of our podcasts and people out there, you are everything that makes this work. We appreciate what you do. So go do what you do. Hit the stars. Leave us some reviews. All right, y'all. From Locked On Oklahoma State Country, later Taters, Locked On Burning Couch Country. Take me home, John Denver.